Hello, this is Mark Satterfield, and welcome to the Velvet Rope Playbook. Tonight's chapter, the $1,200 Blowout. What elite hairstylists teach us about selling to the wealthy. There's a chair in Beverly Hills that's booked 6 months in advance. Not for surgery, not for legal consultations, but for a haircut. Just a simple trim if you believe the receipt, though it'll run you close to $1,200. The stylist? Quiet, impeccably dressed, minimal Instagram footprint. The clientele? Movie stars, billionaires' wives, diplomats, and 2 women who married into European royalty. This isn't just about hair. It's about trust, status, identity. And if you're in any industry where you work with people directly, consulting, real estate, private wealth, wellness, there's something powerful you can learn from these stylists who command rockstar rates without blinking. So let's walk through how elite hairstylists build cult followings and how you can use the same tactics to attract and retain wealthy clients for your business. So what makes a haircut worth 4 figures? It's not the scissors, it's certainly not the shampoo. It's not even the stylist's resume, even though most have trained in Milan or worked fashion weeks. It's what happens in the chair. Because to the wealthy, a top stylist isn't a technician. They're a confidant, a consigliere, an alchemist of identity. Now let me give you an example. There's a woman named Stella who works out of a private studio in New York. No storefront, no signage, just a discreet floor in a luxury apartment building on the Upper East Side. Her clients don't book online, they text her assistant. There's no menu, no highlights or cut and style listed. Instead, every appointment begins with conversation. Where are you traveling next? What kind of people are you around these days? What's your calendar like for the fall? Because Stella's not just cutting hair. She's designing optics. And her clients know what happens on their head affects everything from how they show up in a boardroom to how they're perceived at a gala. That's the level of influence you want. You're not selling a service. You're shaping perception. And if you want a blueprint for how to build that kind of influence in your business, well, then go to getwealthyclients.com. When you're there, you can get a copy of my Amazon #1 best-selling book, The Affluent Marketing Blueprint, along with training programs that show you how to elevate your value and attract clients who don't need convincing, they need you. One of the most overlooked lessons from elite stylists is how they manage discretion. Wealthy clients don't want to sit in a loud salon surrounded by strangers. They don't want their faces on Instagram. They don't even want small talk. They want privacy. The most in-demand stylists build environments that feel luxurious before a single strand is touched. Soft lighting, quiet music, no scents unless it's curated, minimal staff, no walk-ins welcome sign. Because for the affluent, privacy is the new luxury. And if you're in any service business, take this to heart. How you structure your client experience matters more than how much you know. I've seen stylists who aren't the most technically brilliant, but they're booked solid because they understand the psychology of status. Their entire presence says, you're in trusted hands now. You're important, and nothing else in the world matters but you right now. That's not just hair. That's emotional gravity, and your business needs it. One of the biggest mistakes I see consultants, advisors, and creatives make is this. They look too available, but the best stylists, they're not easy to get into, even if you have money. You need a referral. You need to wait. And when you show up, you better show up because no-shows are banned. Scarcity builds desire, and desire builds brand equity. Ask yourself, what have you done lately to make your service feel less accessible? Not to be rude, not to turn people away, but to create value perception in the minds of high-end clients. You don't want to be always available. You want to be worth the wait. And if that kind of high-status client attraction system sounds like something you want working in your business, well, then go to getwealthyclients.com, because that's where you'll find the training, tools, and frameworks I've used to help professionals across real estate, wealth advising, private consulting, and personal branding become the must-have choice for high net worth buyers. Elite stylists know when to be quiet. They know when to mirror, when to affirm, when to advise, but they also know how to end a session. Not just with a "you're all set," but with a transformation that feels cinematic. The cape comes off, the chair turns slowly, the client sees themselves, and it's not just a haircut. It's a better version of who they already believed they could be. That moment, that mirror moment, that's what makes clients stay for years. You can do the same. You don't need shampoo bowls or Dyson dryers. You need a client journey that ends in identity confirmation. Because when a high-end client leaves a session with you and says, "I feel more like myself than I've ever felt," that's when you've won. That's when they tell their friends. That's when they don't flinch at your rates. That's when you go from service provider to indispensable fixture in their life. The best stylists aren't focused on volume. They're focused on vibe. And vibe is what builds value. And if you're in the business of attracting affluent clients, whether you're advising, consulting, designing, or coaching, don't make the mistake of focusing solely on skill. Build an aura. One that says, "This isn't for everyone." One that whispers, "You belong here." One that commands, "This is the experience you've been waiting for." That's what makes people talk. And that's what makes the wealthy trust you. And that's what you'll learn how to build, systematize, and scale at getwealthyclients.com. Go there now. The clients you want, they're already waiting. This is Mark Satterfield. Thanks for listening to this chapter of the Velvet Rope Playbook. I'll be at you soon with another chapter, but until then, bye for now.